The University of Michigan sentiment read came out. It's crashing so bad.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
Year-end expectations for the economy plummeted 23% from last month.
Ooh.
From last month.
Whoa, that's huge.
It's in free fall. The American public is bracing for something ugly. And ironically, they don't see inflation going away. Inflation expectations actually edged up. So the American public thinks inflation is going to be embedded with a combination of those who, of recessionary pressures like the ultimate 1-2 punch. 30 minutes ago, the University of Michigan sentiment read came out.
This week, today, the leadership is set to meet again. Sources say they're reviewing proposals that would claw back unspent COVID funds, streamline regulations for new energy projects, and impose stricter work requirements for certain federal aid programs. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen firing.
Live from Dallas-Fort Worth, this is WFAA News.
And welcome back to Midday on this Tuesday. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Megan Mitchell. A major meeting in Washington today. The president and top House and Senate leadership are discussing our debt. This as the Treasury Secretary doubles down on her warnings that the U.S. is at risk of defaulting. Justin Finch reports.
In the run-up to round 2 of debt ceiling talks, the president and the House Speaker offering opposing views on their progress.
I really think there's a desire on their part as well as ours to reach agreement. I think we'll be able to do it.
President Biden said that you made progress. Are you too far apart?
No. The negotiations themselves, there's nothing moved.
Before agreeing to raise the debt limit, Speaker McCarthy is insisting the White House cut trillions in federal spending.
We've made it plain to our Republican colleagues that default is not an option. Its consequences are too damaging, too severe.
Staffers for the president, the speaker, and top congressional Democrats have held ongoing meetings since those leaders held face-to-face talks last week. Today, the leadership is set to meet again. Sources say they're reviewing proposals that would claw back unspent COVID funds, streamline regulations for new energy projects, and impose stricter work requirements for certain federal aid programs. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen firing off another warning this week, saying that any further delay could leave the U.S. unable to pay its bills as soon as June 1st. Yellen noting that could cause severe hardship to American families, harm our global leadership position, and raise questions about our ability to defend our national security interests. The U.S. defaulting on its debts could halt Social Security payments, leave troops unpaid, and by one forecast, leave nearly 8 million people out of work. Secretary Yellen also cautioning that even an 11th hour deal could risk serious harm to U.S. business and consumer confidence, raise short-term borrowing costs, and threaten the U.S. credit rating. Justin Finch, ABC News, Washington.
Hey, Shalom, Akim, Shalom. First thing and foremost, I'm going to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashir, Wakakwagash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone and rule well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. Those in this gospel, bro, lifting up the standard of Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. Real quick, going into the economy, this debt ceiling nonsense, all the cries about the economy, the debt ceiling, the debt, and all this other stuff. And we know here through the Spirit that eventually they will reach a default. Okay, because we understand Esau is going to allow it to default. They have to June 1st in order to come up with necessary provisions to keep the economy afloat. Okay, which it's pretty much fucked. No matter which way you look at it, the American economy is pretty much fucked because of the simple fact the deficit, okay? The deficit is completely out of hand. Like when you go here, look at this U.S. debt clock. Now, allegedly, this is the current debt in real time, all right? And if you pay attention, the debt is currently up. Okay, it's to the point you can't even count it because it's constantly going up. 31,786,571,700 something thousand. You can't count the last 100,000 because it's constantly going up. Okay, which is scary because every time a U.S. consumer spends money, that isn't being backed by gold, this is the result of it. Okay, because you have way more dollars in circulation than you have tangible assets like gold and silver, etc., etc. Most countries back their currency by some type of gold or some type of precious metals. You know, gold, whatever they may decide to hold their cash or their bonds in, etc. So it says U.S. federal spending official. Then you got U.S. federal budget deficit. And it says U.S. federal spending actual and U.S. federal budget deficit annual. So you have an official, then you have an actual, which honestly speaking, I really don't know the difference. I mean, actual, I'm assuming that's the real debt, but you know, Esau's number game is just totally it's confusing, which money shouldn't be that hard to understand. But we know that this money is through sorcery, usury, and witchcraft, man. Which sorcery and witchcraft is one of the same. That's why when you look on the back of the dollar bill, you have talismans on there, you have symbology on there, you have particular symbols that paint a picture as far as the agenda that the elites want to accomplish. Because I saw a video the other day. Slacky. I saw a video the other day of this J guy basically breaking down how there's a bafflement on back of the U.S. dollar, and I can believe it because you know the money is a talisman. Okay, so it's this whole Federal Reserve System is based on sorcery. Okay, because people, man, they really trust in this dying dollar, this fiat currency, which, let's look up the definition of fiat, see what it means. Fiat money definition. Inconvertible paper money made legal tender by a government decree. Inconvertible paper money, because we know paper money is supposed to be backed by silver and gold. Okay, which this paper money has no value to it. It says fiat money is a type of currency that is declared legal by a legal tender by a government, but has no intrinsic or fixed value, and it's not backed by any tangible assets such as gold or silver. Just like what I said. Okay, so that's the reason why the U.S. economy is getting ready to hit an all-time low and eventually crash. Okay, because this was set up from the beginning. You know, prior to 34th, you was able to go get gold bars. You take $15, $20. Slovakia. Took X amount of dollars, you'd be able to get you an ounce of gold. Like today, I believe an ounce of silver may run you $25, $26. Okay, but an ounce of gold may run you $1,800, $1,900. It's probably more than that now due to inflation. So let me check this out. Ounce of gold. Let's see how much an ounce of gold is worth. Okay. 1,944. But the same ounce of gold back in the day, $20, $30 for an ounce of gold, you would have got an ounce of gold. But now, due to inflation, it's pretty high, man. It says gold price per ounce, 2029, 140. Gold price per gram, $65.25. Gold price per kilo, which I believe is those bars, $65,249. So, yeah, man, it's a wrap, because your money's supposed to be backed by this, not oil, or definitely not the U.S. military. Because see what the U.S. used to do, anybody that didn't play ball with them or buy into their currency, then basically you come up missing. About sanctions put on you, you're fucking ostracized, and before you know it, a hit squad is getting ready to take over your lands and put you in captivity and possibly assassinate your leader. This is what Esau does, man. Okay, so this is the book of Genesis 47, and I'm gonna start at verses 13. It says, "And there was no bread in all the land, for the famine was very sore, so that the land of Egypt and all the land of Canaan fainted by reason for famine." Okay, and you hear about the coming shortages and the pending shortages in America. There will be a famine. Okay, there will be a famine of food. There will be a famine of the word. Okay, which food and bread is synonymous. Okay, that will be a famine in this land. Okay, and it will be controlled, because this is the game that Esau Edom is playing. He's basically doing that to get people to fall victim of this micro C hip, so he could be the one to bring the viable means of an end. Okay, it says, and Joseph gathered up all the money that was found in the land of Egypt and the land of Canaan for corn which they bought, and Joseph bought the money into Pharaoh's house. And when the money faileth in the land of Egypt and the land of Canaan, and all the Egyptians came to Joseph and said, give us bread, for why should we die in thy presence? For the money faileth, because they understood that once the money ran out of circulation, they had to go into what they call a bartering system, which a bartering system deals with trading goods for equal. I won't say equal or lesser value. That's weird. I don't know why the hell my patio door was open like that. It's kind of crazy, man. I won't say equal or equal or lesser value, but in some cases, wine, bread, than people. You see what I'm saying? So, you have those particular like people. Like, we always give the analogy that people are gonna be selling their sons and daughters for food. Cannibalism. It's gonna be real. Okay, but it says, and Joseph said, give your cattle and I will give you for your cattle if the money fails. So basically bartering. Okay, all the commodities, all the livestock, he stored up into the storehouses, and then basically he rationed out or gave according to what he felt was worth, equivalent to the dollars that they had. Give me cattle, and then we give you food, and we give you X, Y, and Z. You see? And it says here, and they bought their cattle into Joseph, and Joseph gave them bread in exchange for horses, and for the flocks, and for the cattle of herds, for the asses, and fed them with bread all that year. Okay, so that's the point of the money failing. And when the money fails here in America, as far as the dollar is concerned, with the paper bag, you have this new form of digital means of currency, which is known as the Fed now, with the CBDC. Okay, which will soon become the micro C hip, if you believe that. Unlike these other groups that's teaching against the micro C hip, we here at Great Millstone, we teach that the micro C hip is indeed the mark of the beast, man. Okay, whether you believe it or not, that's what it is. Okay, because the Most High set up his prophets, his men, to declare that end. All right. Anyway. What is this? Zephaniah 1 and 10. And it said, and it should come to pass in that day, says the Lord, that there should be no noise of, it says, for there should be a noise of a cry from the fish gate, and a howling from the second, and a great crashing from the hills. But how you inhabitants of Nechteph, for all the merchant people are cut down, and all that bear silver are cut off. And it should come to pass at that time that will search Jerusalem with candles, and punish the men that are settled on their leaves. Okay, that said in their heart, the Lord will not do good, neither will he do evil. Okay, because you got guys out here that's teaching that there will never be an economic downturn, and clearly the writing is on the wall. Okay, just earlier when I typed in economic crash, I was just going through the list of videos that was basically going into this economy. And sure, a lot of it could be psychobabble, a lot of it could be to keep you on edge and X, Y, and Z. But overall, man, it's straightforward. It is what it is. Okay, it's too many people reporting on this. Even back in 2008, you had people that were saying the economy is coming to an abrupt halt, and before you know it, you had the crash of the housing market, subprime lending. It got intensified to the point you had layoffs literally overnight, damn near. I remember I went from working 36 hours, and I was young then, 36 to 40 hours a week, to barely 20 hours a week. I got cut down only 12 hours a week, 2 days a week. Tuesdays and Thursdays from fucking 9 to 12, something like that. 9 to 2 or something like that. And before you know it, bam, that was it. And eventually things rebound. But a lot of people lost their business. A lot of people lost their real estate license. Well, not their license, but, they lost their investments. A lot of companies went under. And a lot of people haven't recovered from that. And the fact that the economy is in a worse shape than it's ever been, they just delaying the inevitable, man. Verse 18, it says, neither should the silver nor gold should be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath, but the whole land should be devoured by the fire of his jealousy. It says, for he should make even a speedy riddance of all them that dwell in the land, man. And how is the Lord going to do that? Through those ICBM nuclear missiles, man. Okay. Let's get another precept, then we'll shut it down. Oh shit, my bad. I'm tripping. My mind just went somewhere. I was trying to figure out how my fucking patio screen door got open. I'm looking at my patio door, and I'm wondering like why was it unlocking? Why was the screen pushed back? I don't recall even. I know I opened it last night, but I closed it, and I don't remember opening it back up. So how did the screen get pulled back? And then again, you know, I had a crazy dream, or you know, there's just some crazy shit that happened last night, like around 4 o'clock in the morning. Literally seemed like a demon sitting on the side of my bed. Right? You could say, well, you could have been dreaming. It could have been hallucinate, but I had a form of paralysis too, and I know oftentimes when people have sleep paralysis, they can see shit. I've rarely seen things, but when I did have them, a few episodes, I did see something. And I'll get into it probably in another video about how we wrestle not against flesh and blood, you know. But regardless of it, it's a lot of weird shit happening. But 2nd Ezra 16, and I'm gonna start at verses 37. It says, "Behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack, as with the woman, when a woman with child in the 9th month breaketh forth her son. 2 or 3 hours of our birth, great pains can pass our womb, which pains when a child cometh forth, they slack not a moment." So it's being equated to contractions, the judgment. Like in 2nd Ezra, it gives the analogy of basically this world being as a woman in pain, ready to give it up. All right, and the wickedness is going into the contractions because they're getting worse. You see? And it says, "Even so shall not the plague be slack to come upon the earth." And the main plague is those thermonuclear missiles. "And the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side." Verse 40, "But O my people, hear my word. Make you ready to die battle, and in those evils be as pilgrims upon the earth." Because once this shit really happens, you're going to have all manner of chaos, man. And Esau is going to bring the solution, which would be the micro C hip, followed by martial law. Okay, or martial law followed by the micro C hip. Because these detention centers will have processing centers in it. These Walmarts, okay, these old big box stores, they still have the infrastructure. A lot of these are going to be converted over to internment camps to fit people with the microscopic tag, man, okay? And that's going to be contingent on whether you get out or not. And it says, "He that selleth, let him be as he that fleeth away, and he that buyeth as one that will lose. And he that occupieth merchandise as he that would not profit by it. And he that buildeth as he that shall not dwell therein. And he that sowed it as if he should not reap. So also he that planted the vineyard as he that should not gather the grapes," man. Okay, so that's the point. There's not going to be any work. And all the work we've done, all the debt you've accumulated, all the interest and all the pensions you've paid into is going to be pretty much to naught, because there will be no retirement system. All right, once the economy collapses, you can forget about your 401k, your pensions, man. You can forget about your Social Security. All that's a done deal. Because honestly speaking, Social Security, that tax, a lot of it is just really for military spending. That's why they take so much money. They take more Medicaid out of your check than federal and state taxes, which all of it is wickedness, but still. You gotta ask yourself, you're paying $30, $40 a paycheck in state taxes, but you're paying $150 in Medicare, something you will never be able to see. So it's all a fraudulent based system. That's why it says rich is kept back by fraud, man. But anyway, I'm gonna end it there. All praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. And with that, shalom and a ball. Shalom.